were 3 people that if they had done their job that day, this tragedy wouldn't have happened. And that's David Halls, Halyna Gutierrez-Reed, and Alec Baldwin. If they had just done their basic duties, we wouldn't be standing here.
That's the DA who today charged Alec Baldwin, Halyna Gutierrez, and the other man she mentioned, David Halls. He's been charged, but he took a plea deal, so he's going to be a witness against Alec Baldwin, which is fascinating. But she said if they all did their jobs, right, and followed protocol on a movie set when you're handling not prop guns, these are real guns being used as props, right? Real guns. What is the protocol you're supposed to follow? We're going to talk about that in a second, but first let's find out exactly what they did do from their own interviews. Take a listen.
Did you load them after lunch?
They were already loaded from before lunch. And
Okay.
so that's the thing is like, you know, we had that gun the whole time before that, and it was, nothing happened, and I wasn't in there, and they weren't supposed to be even pulling the hammer back.
You guys were the only 3 handlers prior to lunch?
Alec, Dave, me. Dave was after lunch.
So when was the last time you loaded it?
I loaded it so I loaded it with 5 of the dummy rounds before lunch, and there was one that wouldn't go in. And so when we got back from lunch, I took the little cleaner guy, I cleaned it out really quick, and I put another dummy in there.
Hannah brought me the gun. It was empty at the time. She said, I want to check the gun with you. She did all the things that we just talked about. Then she came back and said, I've put dummy loads in it, dummy rounds. She opened up the hatch, and I saw 3 bullets that all had depressed primers
Okay.
on it. Okay.
So, hold on. All right. So you said when she showed you the first time, the gun was empty. When was that?
It was moments before we actually, put the dummies. It might have been 5 minutes.
Okay, so within okay. So then 5 minutes later, she brings it back, tells you that there are dummy rounds in it.
Yeah,
Did you see where she loaded the gun?
I did not.
Okay.
Was there a reason for the change from?
Because I think somebody decided, oh, we're really tight on the gun. We're gonna have to put dummy loads in. I didn't hear anybody say it. And sometimes I'll say it. Oh, it looks like we're gonna have to put dummy rounds in it. I heard nobody requested. I didn't.
So this time you don't know why there was a change?
I'm not for certain. I can only make some assumptions. If you want to hear it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure that the director of photography, who just passed, probably said, we're in tight on the gun. Or maybe Hannah saw the shot and said, we need to put dummy rounds in it.
So it's not untypical for something like that to happen?
No,
Okay.
it's typical.
And you only saw the 3?
I only saw the 3.
Okay. Do you normally check all of them, or what do you usually do?
Should.
Okay.
You should. And is that what happened this time?
No. Didn't. I don't remember. If she might have spun it, I don't know. But I recall seeing 3 primers depressed.
I went to lunch. She disarmed me. I sat down.
She being?
Hannah, the armaments person. When she was always handling the guns, 99% of the time. So I would, if I had a cosmetic rifle with no rounds, I would probably hand it to one of her assistants. I'm sitting there She disarms me. We go to lunch. We come back from lunch, and they hand me the revolver, the Colt.
And I just like so mean. It's Hannah again.
They arm me, and you're assuming, as we've done every time, that it's a cold gun for the rehearsal. And I put the gag in the shot. You're the camera because I have a coat, and I have a holster, and I pull the coat over, and I kind of cup my hands like I folded my hands. And then I'm going to slowly sneak the revolver, the Colt out, and turn and shoot these other guys, or try to shoot them. I take the coat over the thing, the camera's there. I believe, my recollection is she was there, turned a bit, like talking to him. So I think she was hit in the right armpit. But this is all I know, and that is that I take the gun out in the rehearsal. Really, he wants it very dramatic and very slick. I'm trying to sneak up on them. I take the gun out, and as I take, as it clears, as the barrel clears the hole, turn and cock the gun over here. I turn and cock the gun goes off. It's supposed to be a cold gun. Nothing. No flash charges, nothing.
So that's what happened according to the 3 people who handled the gun with the live round that killed Halyna Hutchins. What should happen? Let's bring in our guests. Joining me in New York, film director with Rosso Films International, who's currently working on a World War II movie called Subject A. Stefano DeFrey back with us. Also in New York tonight, film and TV safety expert. I'm going to get it right. Johannes Camueno. Did I get it right?
That's right.
All right, fantastic.
100%.
All right, Johannes, let me begin with you, safety expert. What should happen? And give me your reaction to what you heard about how it happened on this movie set.
Well, first, Vinny, we're dealing with a live loss, a son without his mother, a father without his wife. And so there's so much more that goes to this situation with the charges that were just filed today. And so I want to first say that our hearts are out with the family with regards to the news that was just produced today. Number one, when we look at that video that was just produced, there's so much that we can look into in terms of legalities, what exactly happened, what's going to happen moving forward. But in terms of the impact that it's going to make across the industry, we're talking about the film industry, we're talking about television moving forward. How do we look at this as an example, number one, to make sure that the protocols that, one, should have been implemented, budgets that should have been increased to ensure that the health and safety standards were being, one, set up properly and being met to the standards that have been, incrementally put in place across the studios, productions, producers, directors, and everyone involved in terms of actors and cast and crew. But most importantly, the jobs that might be impacted based on the news today is something that everyone's going to have to look at very closely to ensure that we're able to learn from this opportunity and move forward successfully.
Stefano, I know you've got lots of guns. You're doing a war movie. So what is the proper protocol to be handing real guns to actors?
Vinny, it's really good to see you again. First of all, the armor, the armor, the armor. The responsibility of the armor, that's their sole responsibility, is to be involved with the firearms. I just had a second film that I was working on called Stolen Doe with a 9mm gun. It was not a prop gun, it was a real gun, and we had a car scene with blanks. The armor is responsible for making sure the supplies are correct. Also making sure the actor, before even the rehearsal, understands what they're using. There's also the protocol of making sure that that David Hall's calling a cold gun. I mean, if you listen to this testimony, I was watching the whole segment from before. They sound lackadaisical. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed sounds lackadaisical. Really, I mean, in her testimony, she says at the beginning she wasn't even sure the gun was loaded before lunch. I mean, this is not an armor that I would ever have on my set, minimum of 10 years, with a 9mm gun that you would have. The protocol fundamentally falls if it's an accident on the actor. If Alec Baldwin were to be charged, the precedents going forward would be detrimental also for, other circumstances that have happened 20 years prior, famous cases like The Crow. So it brings up a lot of issues as his role as an actor or as his role as a producer. And again, for myself, I would say that the armor is number one.
Johannes, so looking at what should be done in Hollywood, every actor who's going to handle a gun needs to know firsthand that the gun is not loaded with a live round. To me, that doesn't sound very complicated. Why would you not do that?
Well, thank you for that, Vinnie. Number one, I'm going to disagree with you, Stefano. I think that there's a lot there in the testimony. But number one, where's the oversight? Where is the oversight? So we have to be dependent on people.
She's the oversight.
She's the oversight, but she was the one handing the firearm directly to Alec Baldwin.
She's the oversight. That's
so
her
where's the
job,
oversight
but that's
to
her
make
role,
sure
hired
that
for that
she's
role.
there doing what her job calls for, right? You're talking about somebody inexperienced, somebody that has claimed that her father is the one that taught her how to be an armorer, right? But if her father would have taught her correctly, then we wouldn't be in the situation today with Halyna Hutchins dead. Number two, when we think of the overall structure in terms of procedures and protocol, I go back to oversight. Health and safety standards need to be met. This isn't just film productions. This is construction crews. This is workers' compensation claims that happen day in and day out, whether we're on a set or we're not. So number two, when we look at this situation with Alec Baldwin and we look at producers and directors and everybody involved, there is so much that we can glean on. And this example just serves purposely the importance of having oversight to make sure that the person is doing their job the way that they're claiming they're doing their job, so that when they say that they're going to put dummy rounds in, who's checking those dummy rounds? When they say they're putting live ammunition in, well, obviously we don't allow live ammunition on sets, but who is double checking that there's no live ammunition loaded in a firearm? So I think that what we're missing here in this case, which will serve the purpose as we move forward with regards to the continued testimony and going through the entire process, but who was the one that was making sure that they were doing their jobs?
All right, Johannes Quimeno and Stefano Dufray, appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much.